Good morning. It's Big Dog Chico, Uncle Neely, the legend, Cordell Stewart, and Philip Dukes. We about to get this thing done on the morning run. Let's go. Uncle Neely, wake up. We got some explosive news that's going on out there right
Why
now.
I gotta be one sleep?
Wake it up.
Deuce just put a jacket on, a shirt, whatever. He was in the wife beater for about the whole prelim, but I'm the one sleeping.
No,
Man.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged. It's morning time somewhere. I think it's like 11 o'clock on the East Coast.
Yep.
And 6 a.m. out here in the middle of the ocean. Good morning. We appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to have a nice conversation about the latest and greatest in sports and entertainment and the culture going on right now. But if you look on Twitter, if you look anywhere, or if you wasn't asleep last night, if you was up and you saw that it was a nice little conversation after the Lakers' intense victory over the New York Knicks. They won 113-109, but LeBron James was seen confronting sports commentator Stephen A. Smith. And they said the altercation stemmed from Smith's recent critiques on the NBA's readiness of LeBron James' son, Bronny James. Stephen A. said that, hey, that wasn't LeBron James, the basketball player, approaching me. That was LeBron James, the father. I have a clip right here we can show, and then we can get everybody's response right after this. Here we go.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son.
Keep my name out your mouth.
Words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing.
Simple as that. Do we need to play any more?
I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN. And
yes, it's on the news everywhere.
Yeah.
But while this is going on, Uncle Neely, let us know your thoughts on this situation, if you don't mind.
Well,
I know you
first
have a
of
strong
all,
opinion.
well, I don't know if I don't have a strong opinion because I wasn't there, and I don't know the particular comments that LeBron may or may not have been responding to. I do know this: I will never argue against or abridge a father's right, and I dare say even responsibility to speak up for his children. And I don't care who the father is or who the child is. You don't see a Deion Sanders being quiet when people have something to say about Shadur Shiloh or even children of his like Travis Hunter, other folks on the team. That's just how I roll myself. Like, I think there are certain things, certain conversations, certain words that can be used. And again, I don't know the specific thing that LeBron was responding to. I don't know what Stephen A. may have said that caused him to do this. I'm talking in general terms. Hey man, one of the sharpest critiques black men get is not being stand-up dads. I got a father figure hat on. That's what the F2 is for father figure. I'm with it. Like, you have the right and again responsibility when somebody says something that you don't like about your children. And it don't matter how old you are, how much money you got in the bank, how old they are, they're still your child. You're still their father. And it's a difference for me, guys, from babying somebody and defending somebody. So it's not like this is a grown man that's like trying to be being protective, of another grown man. No matter how the world see it, that's my son. And if you say something that I think is run afoul about him or in the wrong manner, in the wrong context, I'm gonna say something to you when I see you too.
Well, Dukes, Cordell, what do you guys think about this? Because Stephen A. did say that this is not the player approaching him like Uncle Neely is articulating, but this was the father approaching him.
If I remember correctly, Stephen A., I think at one point in time when Bronny got on the floor with the Lakers, that he was responding to Bronny's if you will, inconsistencies of making shots, wide open shots. And I think what he was trying to say was to stop pushing the envelope, getting your kid on the floor when he's not ready, because he's truly phenomenal over in the B League. And so I think Stephen A was just like, man, come on, slow down, man. Just give the kid a chance to really evolve and develop into becoming a player of his own and not be in the shadows of you, because that's a tremendous shadow that
Mm,
Bronny's in. And I think Stephen A was speaking as a parent and also one that understands the term nepotism, right? So you're going to fight very hard for your kid to be as successful as they can, but there is a process, right? There is a target on the back of the kid to say, okay, if he's not out there producing the way the masses may feel he should because of who his dad is, as we see Shador going through some of those things when it comes down to how great his father was and Deion Sanders, and people having that expectation up at the highest levels, whether they're going to like him or hate him, people are going to respond a certain way. So I thought from what I saw watching it on ESPN and hearing Stephen A's response, he was kind of being that more protective type guy. I say this with my frat brothers when we have these, these marathon of texts going back and forth. I'm like, bro, allow that kid to get as much confidence as he can get over in the B League, to where once he does come in to the big leagues, he can have the confidence, the comfort, and everything else to be as great, because knowing what the backlash is going to be, if he's anything less than that, it's going to be a bit much. And what I heard from Stephen A was like, come on, LeBron, you know, just allow the kid to kind of find his way, be there for him. He's already on the team. He's the 55th, I think, player taken in the draft. Um, Give him an opportunity to evolve and not have him to succumb to the peer pressures of being like his father, which is nothing but great right now because the kid is still young. That's what I got from it when I saw it and when I heard the sentiment that Stephen A gave to it. I think he submitted himself to understanding the bigger thing, which was he's defending his son and not the player.
mhm. Yeah. Luke, after you have a chance to catch up on that and see what happened, what do you think about it?
I think it goes both ways, right? Where from the perspective of Stephen A. Smith, LeBron is a clear case that you use some of your influence to get your son in the league, and we're not. I would have done it for my kid, but at the same time, who is above reproach when you put yourself in this situation? No, Stephen A. Smith. I met Stephen A. last year at the National Association of Black Journalists. And I had just had an article come out, and I asked him, and then the question I had for him and the time I spent with him was, when you have relationships in the business, how do you toe the line of news and business? And he basically said you don't. He said you got a job to do, and they know your job on the front end. So from that point, I knew that if Stephen A. Smith had something to say that he thought that was going to affect his friendship with somebody else, then he would go with the job first. Okay. From LeBron's point, I know these guys have a relationship, and that's what it looked like LeBron is saying. Like, bro, listen, you got a million ways you could have hollered at me, but you chose to holler at me on broadcast television. So that's why you saw LeBron holler at him where? On broadcast television. So it wasn't the phone call, from what I understand, and knowing Stephen A. Smith, the phone call didn't go to LeBron saying, hey, LeBron, hey, I feel like this is the reason that we have to, this is the reason why you should have handled things differently. He said it in front of the entire nation multiple times. And I think as a father, LeBron was like, bro, you could have hollered at me. But, since you didn't, I'm going to holler at you. So I look at it from both ways. And I think it's something that to be resolved fairly swiftly. And one thing we know about Stephen A. Smith is he's going to push the envelope every time. And some of the things that he said about Bronny didn't sound exactly like that's somebody, because Stephen A. Smith gonna let you know. He gonna say, "Hey, this is my dear friend. This is my such and such, whatever it is." And we never, and I know it's LeBron being a parent, because you never seen LeBron go at Stephen A. Smith for saying that he wasn't the greatest. You never seen him say, "Hey man, you hating on me," or "Why you keep hating on me?" He always said like he don't really say nothing. So I think from this time, and you know it was LeBron being a father, and I can't fault anybody for for being Papa Bear.
Yes, indeed, man. Like you said, when you met Stephen A. Smith, he said he's gonna say what he needs to say for his job, no matter what type of relationship he has with that person. He's gonna be on. We've heard him speak about Coach Prime in ways that we would look and be like, "Hey, he just said that. Aren't they friends?" But like you said, he's gonna say what he feel like he needs to say. Shout out to LeBron, in my opinion, though. A lot of people might not like this. A lot of people might be opposed to this. But shout out to LeBron for coming up to him and saying something. But at the same time, LeBron, you 6 foot forever. Stephen A. Smith, little old fella like that. Is that bullying?
Man,
Would he come up?
Chico. First
That's
of all,
the question. That's the. I just asked the question. I just asked the question.
Hey, hold on, Chico, real quick. Stephen A. Smith ain't no little guy.
No, he ain't a little guy, but everybody looks small next to LeBron. But Stephen
No,
is about 6'1".
Let me say something, Chico.
Yeah.
One, want to pick something that Dukes, my good friend Duke, said. What Stephen A. does on the platforms that he does it on, in my mind, can't be compared to what LeBron did. Let me tell you why. I know LeBron James know the cameras follow him everywhere. I know that he realized somebody recording this, but he didn't do it like with a microphone in his hand and stop the arena. He didn't do it on like he walked up to him one-on-one. Like what? Why does he have to be the guy to be like, hey, let me holler at you in the back? Stephen A. didn't say let me holler at you back. So I don't think LeBron did it like on national TV the way Stephen A. does. And I'm gonna challenge y'all this. And I will use myself, I will use Chico, I will use Cordell/Stewart, and I will use Dukes as an example of this. When you hear Cordell say, me and Coach Prime are friends, you can find recent records of Coach Prime saying, me and Cordell are friends. When you hear Neely say, I talked to Prime today, you can find in a short search where Prime will acknowledge, I talked to Neely today. The same thing with Dukes, the same thing with BiggDogg Chico. A lot of these times when Stephen A. be prefacing what he about to say with my dear, dear, dear friend, I ain't never heard them people come back and say my dear, dear, dear friend to him. I think he be setting the stage for like a kind of a soft shoe, passive aggressive justification. What I'm about to say. Hey, now if I can say this about my friend, I can say it about anybody. But you don't ever hear these other people come back and say, oh yeah, me and Stephen A. tight. So I think sometimes, man, there's these presumptions of close relationships with people that really don't exist in the real world. Like everybody watching this show, including the 4 participants on the panel, has had a job before. And when you look at people at work, you'll think they friends. But soon as that one's down at 5 o'clock, man, I can't stand that mofo. Like we just work together.
That's right.
Like, we gotta stop assuming these people are tight just because they work together. We don't know that Stephen A. or LeBron or vice versa actually like each other. You don't know that.
From the other side, all you hear is Stephen A. saying, and my brother, like he's talking about Donovan Mitchell the other day. And I love my brother Donovan Mitchell. I love him. But does Donovan Mitchell love you? Like you just setting this up. Like,
But answer this question, guys. But answer this question real quick. Okay, we're I guess some are more enthusiasts of football and I'm sure some may be more basketball. But being that I'm sure we all are basketball fans because that's what we are today, is if you're watching Bronny James play, okay, and you watch him in the B League to you watching him prime time with the Lakers, we've all played basketball. We know when watching a player if he's ready or if he's not ready, whether it's in good times or it's garbage time. As an analyst, you do have a job outside of the emotions and the feelings of what you know of that player, who the father is. Your job is to analyze what you see. And because of compassion in knowing LeBron, his legacy, what he's accomplished, every time, former player, myself, we put our kids in these certain places every once in a while that may cause them to come across like they're really not ready yet. And what I'm saying is to you guys, and what I'm asking is, when you watch Bronny, especially in the early stages, in which we've heard Stephen A. say things along the lines of, "Come on, man, get out of the way, LeBron. Allow this kid to be himself and allow him to evolve in playing the game, and not have him deal with the backlash
Mm.
that may be unwarranted so early, to where it causes you to come out of your bag, to want to correct, chastise, want to get at." And LeBron being in the position he's in my opinion, yes, make the phone call to Stephen A. 100%. You don't damage your credibility as the mogul that you are to us, and you protect your son behind the scenes by correcting the envelope. If you're watching Bronny, what do you think you see when he's on the floor with the Lakers, as opposed to when he's on the floor with the B League
Well, let me nitpick that a second,
or
Cordell.
G League, whatever BRG that is? Yeah.
You make a very salient and excellent point. But I also got to say this as a pushback. If LeBron James Jr. wasn't LeBron James Jr., Stephen A. wouldn't be talking about him not being ready. Because every team got somebody on it that ain't supposed to be on that damn team. Like, don't nobody
Right.
say a word about that eighth white guy on the bench that offers nothing. He just friends with the GM or buddy with the starter, so they got him on the squad. Like, when you look at the NBA roster from 1 through 15, when you get down there around 9 on out, don't nobody even know them guys. And no one's saying they should be in the G League or they should be doing that. And then we're also making a presumption, because I've never heard LeBron say it. Please put it up on screen if you have. I've never heard LeBron say publicly, "Yeah, I told Rob and the coach to put my son in the game and don't take him out, or to do this or do that." Like, if LeBron ain't in the loop on the AD trade, why we think he in the loop on the minutes? Like, we make this assumption that everything is being orchestrated by him, and that this kid ain't ready, and it's LeBron's fault that ain't ready. So I'm saying this to what you said, Cordell, is as brilliant as it was. That's even more reason I'm finna go to a Stephen A. Because now, Stephen A., you are making it like I'm the one that's forcing him on the floor. Like,
Yeah,
that
but
I'm the one doing this.
but that's why I think, for me, because if we know Stephen A. for being as brash as possible when it comes to any topic, and no one
Absolutely.
gets excluded from whatever it is he wants to say or has to say based on what he sees. If he doesn't respond to it the way he doesn't get that new 5-year multi-million,
Absolutely.
$100 million deal.
Absolutely.
And because we know the platform that he has will shake the stage, so kind of sort of. Again, I still stand on, it's more of a protection thing towards his son than it was his son not being able to play. Because I
Mm.
never heard him say one time that he wasn't good enough. But what I did say was, come on, man, allow him a chance to, because I even said that with my son in dialogue. I'm like, bro, look, if we keep Ronnie over there in the G League, come on, guy, work with me. It's BRG, is it the
G,
G League?
G.
There you
Gee,
go, there you go.
good, good,
There you
good
go,
lead.
good. So if we're having him over in the G League, getting those minutes, to get, because at one point in time he couldn't hit a jump shot to save his soul when he would play in garbage time with the Lakers. And so when you see that, you're saying to yourself, as a black man and watching my son in who I am, I gotta be like, hey man, come on now. Let don't expose him to the stuff that others may say that may not have a chance to talk to if I'm Stephen A. to me like that. He can't
Yeah.
go and say people on the other network the stuff that he said to Stephen A. or even have the access to calling them like he can to Stephen A. And
Mhm.
because I think culturally, with because Stephen A. is he's in a double-edged sword now. It's that space of, I got to do my part, and I want to be as transparent, because he could have went harder and said, man, that dude don't supposed to be out there. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why we got this man out here, missing.
He certainly could have said that, but
And he didn't. And so that's why I said, for me, is, hey, Stephen A, let's I understand where you're coming from. I ain't got nothing to do with that, but slow down on hollering at my son like this here, because now that because cameras are everywhere and phones are everywhere, right? Recordings are everywhere. Now all of a sudden it looked like it's a bully, like we just sarcastically said, he's bullying him because he's bigger, and people can take that and run it. like they want to. And I get both sides, but I play to the side of I get what Stephen A is trying to say, and it made LeBron get a little, overly fatherly in a sense, because you can't say he wasn't being a father, or he can't be too much of a father. But at the same time, I think the phone call should have been made more than having it to be that, because I think there is a relationship, because Stephen A respects LeBron. I mean, we just heard him before that happened yesterday that Stephen A gave LeBron more love about being the GOAT because of the tenure in which he's been playing for 22 plus years. And now that he has Luka, look how he's been rejuvenated in playing the game. So it's a double-edged sword. I don't play the nepotism game too much, because I've seen my son get yelled at for something he didn't do. And the coach ran up to me as if Sire did something. I said, "Did you talk to Sire? Do you know?" He comes back the next day and he apologizes to me. But I got to let my son go through that process to get stronger and let him tell me on the back end. Now, later on, when I saw the dude do it to another kid, then I got at him. See, then I got at him, because I'm like, that's just you just being
because that's the
butthole.
pattern.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, a pattern. That's your behavior. You don't care. You just want to act like you're that dude.
Yeah.
Like you Vince Lombardi around this thing. You got DBs covering receivers with their back to the quarterback and man coverage the whole time.
If Stephen ain't nothing, he a pattern.
We've seen this before.
In the word, and look, I'm not knocking the man's hustle. Stephen A is the greatest thing that's ever happened to ESPN. I am very proud for his brother. I wish him much continued success. He knows when he's pushing buttons. He knows how it gets views. He knows how it gets clicks. He is the gold standard of what you do in broadcasting and sports journalism at a level that balance between sports and entertainment and education and knowledge. Like I love his craft and his work, what he does. But like my man Charlie Murphy said about Slick Rick James, Stephen A is a habitual line stepper. And so if you're able to respond to your little league coach because of a pattern, I mean, damn, if ain't nobody in the world got the pattern, Stephen A.
This is in high school. This is in high school, bro. And I mean, this joke is sitting up here. He's mad because he comes in. I'm his dad, so he's like, this, that, and the third. And the head coach like, you know what you're talking about? He said, all I know is this, that, and the third. So all of a sudden, it get to the point where he sees Sire on practice, and Sire looked at him and walked away. And I guess one of the kids said something. He thought Sire said it. So I walk up to Sire on the side. I said, "What did you just say?" I said, "Dad, I promise you, I didn't say none of that, man." I went back to him. I said, "My son said he didn't say nothing to you." "Man, I'm telling you what I heard." So I left it there. I left it there because I can't allow me being a parent override coaching when it comes to these players. I chose to come into this space. They didn't, so if I come in this space, I got to kind of fall in line to an extent, but help my son on the back end.
I love it, Slash. I love it. I love it because Stephen A was in LeBron's space. LeBron wasn't at the studio in Bristol. LeBron wasn't at the studio in LA. Stephen A was in the gym. Like you in my space. And in the words of Loaded Lux, you gonna get this work.
You don't get that. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I just think these are two professional. LeBron is a professional man. That's a billionaire. We got Stephen A, who has a job that's gonna force him to say some stuff that if he sees it a certain way, he's gonna straddle the fence, which we heard him do. But he's also gonna go right at it. And I just think LeBron felt like it was a necessity. It was his duty to correct that brother on site. And for me, I guarantee you, we gonna see in front of the camera them shaking hands and making up, if you will, because that's what we talked about after all this stuff. And I just wish it would have happened that way before. You understand me? Until as opposed to the back end. But I get it.
I will tell you this, Slash Deuce and Chico. Chico, put that last graphic back up.
Oh. Wait.
Oh, the other one. No. Yeah, there we go. My God, look at Stephen A. hairline and LeBron's hairline.
Lord,
they both in the class together.
Come on now, dog.
My Lord. Like that what LeBron should have walked on and said, "Hey, dog, like you get like
I can hook you up." You know what I mean? I can hook you up.
That's what he should have been saying.
Look, let me tell the audience out there was so fortuitous, I think is the word about this conversation. We were having Slash back. He was on Wednesday with us live. We were having him back to talk about the GOAT debate, having no idea that this was going to happen, and just throw a grapefruit to us to hit out the ballpark.
Nice.
If you're just joining the chat, man, we got started right into it. Let us know where you're from in the chat. It's the morning run with BiggDogg Chico, your man Uncle Neely, and of course Scoop, and special guest Cordell / Stewart is back with us. Hey,
Yes, sir.
the first guest that came 2 times in a row. Man.
Indeed.
The biggest
I love
pause.
it, man. I love
yeah,
it. I
big
love
pause.
it. You said the biggest fault. Yeah.
Biggest pause.
It won't be.
Biggest.
I'm sure that ain't his first time coming 2 times.
Here we go.
They don't call it flash
Paul.
Come on
Yeah,
now, dog.
Hey, and that was a line stepper right there. I bet you.
Yeah.
Hey, but hold up, Chico. Hold up, Chico.
Covered 2 times.
Whether it's Rick James, whether it's Stephen A. or Neely, we got a pattern. Like I ain't doing nothing I don't typically do.
That's right.
Hey, what Uncle Neely always say? The best indicator of future performance.
It's past performance.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right.
Man. Before we get up off Stephen A, because shoot, this whole show is Stephen A is all over the headlines right now.
Yeah, he is. Got the money and he got the conversation.
Got
from
the
LeBron.
money. You said that. So let's pull that up 1 time for your mind, 2 times for your brain. Stephen A. Smith, the $100 million man. He's scared. What y'all think about this? $20 million a year for
I like
Stephen
it.
A. The deal
like
is
it.
done.
I love
He's
it.
opened up some doors for a lot of people to be on here, becoming talking heads and making some real big time money.
All the
So-
other guys are out there getting it, from the Troy Aikmans to the Joe Bucks of the world, and
Mhm.
I'm sure the Colin Cowherds of the world that are getting some pretty good money from running their shows. He had a chance to be on there once early in his career and was gone for a minute, came back, refined, if you will, and ended up getting with Skip Bayless, and Skip got ran up out of there, and Stephen A took over. And over the past few years, Stephen A has truly, in my opinion, has been very good in a sense of transparency, number one. And number two, having the ability after going in, pause, the way he has, when it comes down to articulating things that may be, cutting edge or even borderline, he's been able to go there, but also pull back at the same time. Right. So he has done, I thought, an admirable job and continue to do, even with covering what we mentioned a moment ago, the LeBron situation, of knowing how to go there and also be transparent and step back a little bit. And then have also some compassion. Because sometimes in coverage, when you have folk on networks for a long time, they just want to sound like they're right.
Mm.
Right. But Stephen A, while sounding like he's right, he's also backing it up with facts.
Yeah.
And also allowing those guys, when he go into other spaces outside of basketball, which is his strong suit, goes into football and rely on the Ryan Clarks of the world and the Magoos and all those boys and refer to them out of respect. And I think that creates that transparency on the show that makes it more barbershopish, or even like what we're doing right now from the standpoint of just having dialogue and not necessarily being statisticians, but just having conversation, because that's what real good television is. It's real good conversation. And I think that's what caused those at ESPN, after being so rigid and I thought so traditional in their approach, have another wave in a way that fits the way the modern day social media and conversations are. I think Stephen A got it right down the middle. He's got it pegged perfectly.
Exactly.
I love that slash, and I say this to Dukes and Chico from the industry side, and to you slash from the sports side, and dabbling in the industry over the years, because you've been in journalism too. That Stephen A deserves that and then some. And I tell you, I'm basing it on anywhere between 5% to 30% of what he's made ESPN, they should be putting back in his pocket. And I bet you he's made them way more than $100 million. And so I'm all for people getting a piece, a portion, a significant portion of what they help you make. Like, because ESPN would not be the top tier that they are, particularly in the mornings, without him. You wouldn't have these spinoff shows without him. And all the revenue that comes from that advertising would not be there. And so he deserves a $100 million contract and then some. And I also will say this, that needs to be said from a culture standpoint. It's much like Coach Prime, and that not only does Stephen A do what he does at a high level, he does it while still being black. And if that makes somebody uncomfortable, I'm sorry. But the truth is, a lot of times when we get in spaces and places, we have to walk a little different. We have to talk a little different.
Yeah, that's right.
We
That's
have to
right.
act a little different.
That's right.
And then
Code
when
switch.
we work, we switch that code back. Exactly, code switch.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A., Deion Sanders, Shannon Sharp. There's a select group of brothers out there in their space that not only get to still be themselves and still be black, it becomes so financially successful for who they partner with, it literally opens the doors for more black people because
Mm-hmm.
like, oh damn, it worked over there. I don't
Mhm.
have to have a coach that shaves every day. I don't have to have a coach, that listens to rock and roll and country instead of R&B and rap. Like, I can have somebody in my organization that is from their community and still shows they're from the community instead of trying to assimilate. Because like even in big boy ball, like ESPN, Disney, those are billionaires. The owners of these football teams are billionaires. And they're going to typically pick from people they're comfortable with.
That's right.
And one of the things they real comfortable with is making money. And so if you show them that you can be yourself and make them money, it just opens for more opportunity. Stephen A. deserves way more than $100 million. Just like Coach Prime deserves way more than he getting paid in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Could you imagine being in that room negotiating with Stephen A. Smith? Go ahead, Deuce. I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. No,
You got that right.
I was just saying, like, I think the thing that's the most important thing about the whole contract is him being able to go into politics. That's one thing that's always been separated when people talk about sports, is the political part of it. So with Stephen A. Smith, I think the original number they were saying was about 5 years, $25 million earlier in the year. So then you see it be a little bit less. And a lot of people are going to compare his money to Pat McAfee. And I think the difference is that Stephen A. Smith, the money that he's going to get, that's where everything being produced from, hey, this is my money as talent, and my show is my interest. So Stephen A. Smith podcast is still his. Well, Pat McAfee got all of that money to produce his show the way he wanted it to. So for him to be able to say, look, you're going to pay me as a talent, but now you're going to see Stephen A. Smith on ABC and it not be a ball bouncing, it not be somebody running a touchdown. You're going to see him in a way that we probably haven't seen anybody in this space before. So I think this is a groundbreaking deal, especially when you consider the fact that he's going to be in so many spaces where he's more than a sports guy, but he's going to become this. This is the deal that turns Stephen A. Smith into not just Stephen A. Smith Sports, but he's Stephen A. Smith, the personality across brands, much like when we saw Mike Strahan go to a different level with ABC. But this guy is getting the green light to go say, hey, the Democratic Party needs to do this, and that's something that we haven't seen, or the Republicans need to do this. And that's something that this is unprecedented ground where somebody has made their bones in sports and been able to have that voice while still having that same sports and being paid by the leader in sports to do the same thing.
Hey, dude, let me ask you a question. Who owns ESPN and ABC? Same organization. Same organization. And there are people, man, we love, like, part of our conversation Wednesday with the great Cordell Stewart was people trying to pigeonhole him into being what they thought he should be and only be. And his success came when he was given that latitude to be all that he can be. Same thing with the Travis Hunter. We've articulated on this show that Travis Hunter, in all that he is, likely doesn't win the Heisman Trophy unless he's got a coach like Deion Sanders who knows, let this guy be him. And Stephen A. knows more than sports, even though that's what you know him from. Michael Strahan knows more than just rushing the quarterback, even though that's what you know him from. Deion Sanders knows more than coaching football, even if that's just what you know him from. So when you get people who are talented and get them in the right spaces and organization, Warren Sapp said this so wonderfully, fellas, on Wednesday with Warren, one episode. He said to all the audience out there, remember this: don't choose your job, choose your boss. Because if you work for the wrong person, it doesn't even matter what the organization is.
Yeah, that's I heard he told me that one too. But he has the latitude to do that. He's played the game of football. He's got his own money. He's a Hall of Famer. So he can set.
Travis got his own money. Whenever I hear that phrase, I keep that right there.
That man got his own money. So some of us are subjected to be able to only take what's presented to us,
Absolutely.
whether it be, in some cases, because everything's relative, the lowest pay to the highest pay. Um,
Absolutely.
but when it comes to Stephen A, because sometimes we like to play as black folk, we like to play this role of being a victim, right? And that handicaps us. And one thing Stephen A said that I love most is the sacrificing he made when it came down to being gone so much so that his family can be secure.
Yeah.
And the work that he's put in caused him to have to bite his tongue early on in his career, or maybe said some things early in his career that cost him, where he had got some time taken away from ESPN to where he came back. He had to be under Skip Bayless, so he had to learn how to follow in order to be a great leader. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, then he got the opportunity to lead. And then, of course, but in the NBA, with Perk and all those guys over there, his space was that's his comfort zone. But then to run first take and create all the Stephen A lists and all the different, entities he has under the first take umbrella, and how he covers it. And we mentioned politics. I stay away from that part because politics and sports truly never mix well.
Mm.
You get caught sometimes, but he does a great job of doing his homework, of understanding, knowing when to pause, go hard, and pull back. All right.
Chico don't know
And
how to pull back.
yeah. and so
See,
I
Chico
just
say the
say
only thing at his
Come
house to
on
pull
now,
out is the
dog.
couch.
the only reason I say that is because we cannot fall into that matrix after the hard work that Stephen A's putting in, the hard work that Coach Prime has put in. Feel as if we all deserve a chance, right? Because we have to be deemed worthy of that opportunity to allow these moments to transcend. And it just causes us to have to be greater than most, not better, but greater, because sometimes we have to work double hard to just get that one opportunity to possibly even fail only 4 times when they don't have to work as hard to fail 100 times.
Mm.
And so we have to make sure that when understanding what Stephen A has gotten into Coach Primes, what he's had the opportunity to earn and get and take, and this is why I think the backlash happens to people like the Stephen A or even a Coach Prime, is because the unconventional reasoning doesn't say these dudes are supposed to be in these positions.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry.
Well, what you
I'm
just
sorry. I'm
said,
sorry. I'm sorry. The conventional reasoning. I'm sorry. The
right?
conventional reasoning doesn't cause these dudes to be in these spaces. The unconventional
Okay,
reasoning says, hell yeah, they're supposed to be there
right.
because it's not normal like it quote unquote used to be. There's a new norm now, and there's new sheriffs in town that look like us, and it makes us proud and happy, to say that we know these folk, and to know that these dudes are doing it the way they are. It's beyond great, and
Let me
I'm
ask
glad to
this
know
last:
that Stephen A is a brother and Prime is a good friend.
Is the new norm becoming celebrities that can become presidents? And what do you think about this statement right here? What Stephen A. Smith said. We're not going to stay on politics too long. Just
Yeah.
going to ask this question: could he become uh, the actual president of the United States?
Mm. Donald Trump's the president twice in 2 out of 3 terms.
Mm-hmm.
So
So at the end of the day,
let's just do it. Let's
if
just
you
do a
can,
vote. We're not going to get
well,
too
watch
much
this.
into it. Let's do a
Well,
vote. But go ahead.
give me
Go
half
ahead,
a second. Give
Stu.
me half a second. Give me half a second. Half a second.
Okay.
If you can tap into the people the right way to be that voice that hadn't been heard, I think both parties do it. The Democratic Party speak for their agenda in which they speak for, and the Republican Party speak for the agenda in which they speak for. The secular people that we have in this country will determine if they're doing their research or how they feel on how they vote. And I think whether it was Barack Obama to where it was Kamala Harris at one point in time when she was running and tapping into those folk, into what we seeing now with Coach Prime and also with Donald Trump, is you're going to feed into that moment. Sometimes most times than not, the need to allow that would allow you to get into some of these spaces that conventionally doesn't always allow you to get into. So there was a need for Stephen A. There was a need for Coach Prime. there's a need for Neely and Chico and the Dukes and also Slash on this show today to talk about the GOAT.
Yeah.
I like that pivot, Slash. I see what you did there. That was that spin away from the linebacker rollout. I like that. I like that footwork.
Nice.
And to that point, real quick, yeah, he can do it, and I'm gonna tell you why. It ain't just Trump. What was Ronald Reagan professor before he was the president?
Actor.
Yes, indeed. Celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, like, so when people find out people who have influence, and this could be now, don't man, listen now. You know, sometimes I listen to Jason Whitlock just to hate on him, and just to spread hate, just to say, man, I don't like that. I go in the comments and be like, I don't like you, and I'm one of them. I'm a troll over there, but he had a very good point. And you know, a spade is a spade. Where if you can get somebody who can conjure emotion, you can get somebody who can be a politician.
That's
and
right.
And I think that's really what it's about. And even Stephen A. Smith. Now, and this goes to a deeper conversation. But think about this: in our community, we got this thing called code, right? And you got to be on code. And I'm not going to explain it because there might be a lot of more people watching because you got to know to know. But when we talk about being on code, there are certain things you say and you don't. Well, there last night was an example of somebody who was checked for not being on code, whatever that code was in that friendship or whatever it was there. Stephen A. Smith has proven that he's not going to be on code just to be on code. He's not going to go along just to get along. And in order for him, now, and I wasn't even going to say, now you brought it up, Chico, but I think it's a way bigger play than what we know right now as far as for him to be able to go and get that type of contract. Because what now I'm not.
Yeah. I feel what you're saying.
All the way, but I'll say this: it's a bigger play in play right now. And right now, when you have a community and a culture that feels lost, that feels attacked, that feels abused and underinformed, and that's how they feel about some of these things, then you get a guy who can reach that community without alienating another one. You can see you're starting to see the ground floor or groundswell for somebody to take a position that or to be pushed into a role that reaches way further than sports. But I'll leave it at that.
Because it's all about influence.
Let me give you these two things, Chico, because I don't want to belabor the point of it. You don't have Donald Trump if you don't have Barack Obama. Pendulum swing, and they swing to the equal extreme that they were. And I'm not saying that Barack Obama was extreme. I'm talking about the way they see it.
They call it balance.
Thank you. The pendulum is going to swing, and then that's what governs the middle. The pendulum is going to swing back. And there will be somebody that is an equal opposite to Donald Trump that gets elected president
100%.
4 to 12 years.
The country's going to warrant that. They're going to warrant that.
Having said that, the issue that we have is that I don't care if it's dog catcher all the way up to president, 90% of elections are won by the person who raised the most money. Because that's where your influence comes. That's how you buy TV advertising. That's how you put mailers out. That's how you get on the planes and travel around from city to city. So this message that Dukes is talking about, the message don't get out without money, which is why the majority of elections are won by whoever spend the most money. I don't care if it's mayor, city council, dog catcher, president. And so Malcolm X wants to say, we ain't outnumbered, we just out organized.
My man.
If we don't get organized and fund some stuff, ain't gonna be no fun for us.
How about that?
If we don't fund some stuff, ain't gonna be no fun for us.
He ain't lying.
Simple as that.
Guess why this GOAT conversation about to be so good?
Well, before we get to the GOAT conversation, hold on. We got people that will be. We have somebody for us to have a GOAT conversation. That means that Charles Barkley will be calling us damn fools, because that's what he said last night. He talked about ESPN and everybody over there, including Stephen A. Smith, including Big Perk, and Stephen A. said, "Put a name on it." What?
Why would you quote people? Do you try to imitate them? Like just quote them, man. When you quote Magic Johnson, 3 words in, you start talking like Magic Johnson. When you quote Charles Barkley, 3 words in, you start talking.
Whoa! Bring that back up. Bring that back up. I ain't see that one.
Yeah, put a name on it.
Yo, Chuck, stop the BS with the y'all. Okay, Stephen A. Attach a name, put an address on it. I know I've been talking about the Cavs being the number one threat to the Celtics. Once you come over here, there's going to be some folks waiting to call you a fool. P.S. You know I love you, though. See y'all soon. Yo, at the Jet on TNT, workbook those
Yeah, I
free
saw
throws.
that. I saw that.
Love y'all.
I saw that.
Wow.
I
And
saw
here's
that.
a quick clip real
Saw a
quick. Here we
fool
go. Here we go.
idiot on TV talking about the Lakers saved the NBA.
Save the NBA.
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about? There's a lot of
Kendrick
fools out
Perkins.
there. Oh,
He said,
Which one you talk about? There's a lot of fools out there. Why, Shaq? Come on, Shaq.
the Lakers, first of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're going to be working for next year, that's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
That's all they talk about.
Tell me
Hey,
something.
first of all, I want all the smoke. I
Tell me
don't
something.
whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I wanted to let that part play because I wanted to ask Unc about that one. I'm sure he can explain the whistling past the graveyard comment right there. Also,
new one.
Man,
That's a
I
new
heard
one.
that. I heard that earlier, and then heard Kenneth Smith say he never heard of it. It's a Southern thing. He went to school in Carolina. Surprised. I know he's a New York City boy. Surprised he ain't hear it in Carolina. What it means is to the uncountry folks out there, when you whistle as you walk past the graveyard, that's your way of playing like you ain't scared. So you like, everything is fine here. I'm whistling. I'm having a good time, and I'm walking past the graveyard, and there's a fog in there, and I think I heard something, but I'm okay. I'm whistling. So what Chuck is saying is, I ain't whistling past the graveyard, which AKA, I ain't scared.
I ain't whistling past the great. That's some old school right there, for real.
Oh, yeah.
That's some. He still got his great grandmother around and grandmother around, because that's the people that say stuff like that. I ain't whistling past the graveyard.
My grandmother used to say that all the time, Stu.
I'm telling you,
say
man.
it all the time.
Well, you whistling past the graveyard. That means you scared as hell.
Eating pig feast at the same time.
But he called those guys fools for debating whether LeBron James or Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Well, can we be some fools right now? Talk about that. I know it won't be hard. Look at Uncle Nigga laugh. He's like, this is right in my wheelhouse right here. Let's go, Uncle.
I'm laughing at Slash because he got so passionate on Wednesday. That's what led to him coming back, because you about to fight you, Chico. So what I'm literally gonna do, Chico, I got your back. Let me tell you something, Chico.
Okay.
I know you are a convert to LeBron is the GOAT, and I know that Slash believes that MJ is the GOAT. I got your back, Chico. As soon as Slash hits you in the back, I'm jumping in.
All right, bet. Well, I will say this. I want to preface it with this. Like I said, I always thought that Magic was the GOAT because Magic won in high school, won in college, came right into the NBA and won, had probably the best game ever when he had to step in for Kareem and play center in the finals. Multiple MVPs in the 80s. Had his career not been upended the way it was, I think he could have won another championship. He ended up getting the gold medal. So at the time, I think Magic Johnson was the greatest. Michael Jordan came along with the flash and the business and the, big time, the movies and all this stuff. He took over with the culture, and he was the greatest on the court at the time. But with Space Jam. But
I remember that.
LeBron James and what he has done since he has come to the league as a rookie to now, and produce offspring in the league. No, he's the greatest of all time.
Bro, how can you add that in?
Because nobody else has done that, dog. Add that in too.
But that don't make
I produce offspring. I'm playing with my son, dog.
How can your offspring add to your greatness when Magic Johnson?
Don't do it, Drew. Don't do it, Drew.
I'm just asking.
Come on.
All I'm saying, let's keep a spade a spade now. So we just we're not going. Let's just take that part out of it.
Okay, take that out. That was just a little avocado on the salad right there, dude.
What about Coach Rivers' son that came into the NBA? What about him?
Trash.
I mean,
right.
I'm just saying. So when you start mentioning GOAT, like that's more sentiment and compassion and all Michael. I mean,
that's what I think is for everybody from the 90s, though.
As a GOAT, though, I don't think that categorizes him as a GOAT. I just think that from a lineage standpoint, as we see in football, we have the great our head coach at Colorado, and Coach Prime and his son, and what he's getting ready to do. We got a litany of coaches or former players that were Hall of Famers and great, where their kids went off and played the same sport and had some success. So I'm not going to throw that as being the GOAT. What put LeBron James in the GOAT conversation And in comparison to Michael Jordan, is the longevity portion of it,
Yeah.
to be honest. Now, he is arguably one of the most athletic players to ever play the game. Once a football player as a tight end, took that physicality, brought it to the game, and he just was ferocious. Don't get it twisted. Everything that he's done has been tremendous. I think he falls into the space of benefiting from a health standpoint. Now, how many 82 game seasons has he actually? I think John Stockton had more 82 game seasons than a LeBron James when it comes to and going to the playoffs and having. I'm just saying, like, so when we start mentioning GOAT, there's a whole bunch of layers here. When you look at Michael Jordan, let's go to LeBron. In 1,513 games, just giving you basic stats here because we got to get factual because everything can be opinionated if we don't become factual.
Please make my point right here.
1,513 games. There was 558 30-point games that he had. Michael Jordan, 1,072 games. Less games, almost 500 to 400 and a half less games. He's had 562 30-point games.
And what was his shooting percentage in them games?
And LeBron could do it too, man.
He could do it too.
But he just decided to be a facilitator. I think.
So
if LeBron wanted to score 30, I think he could.
Oh, all right. In this era of basketball, can we all agree that it's more of the Globetrotter era in comparison to the era in which we watched back in the day? In comparison to, is it okay? Because everybody has skill sets of being able to handle the football. They can run the floor. Giannis, I mean, he can take the basketball up and down the court with whoever is covering him, or even if they're in zone and he takes it, he take it all the way to the rim. Shaq was probably the first big man that we can arguably say when he got the rebound, he could take it from end to end and actually get a layup or shoot a jump shot. And actually, everybody's pretty much doing that nowadays. 1 through 5. Am I correct? Is that okay to say?
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree.
LeBron James, because of his size, because of his dominance, because when you're watching that first finals against the Mavs, what did he do in that first finals he had against the Dallas Mavericks? Did he crumble? Did he have on the biggest stage? This is the same conversation I have about Jalen Hurts in football. Is on the biggest stage, this dude shines every single time in Michael Jordan. It never failed one time on the biggest stage. Now we're gonna say, well, he got Scotty and he got Cartwright, he got Kerr, and he got Paxson.
What?
He gotta have 4 other guys on the team. I mean, you can't.
Everybody forget this year right here. Everybody forget this when they talk about Michael Jordan. Okay. I just watched this last night. Thank goodness. Penny Hardaway and Shaq and the Orlando Magic knocked off Jordan and them and sent him home.
It's okay. I mean, that was when he came back.
Everybody forget that.
45.
No.
Because he wore a different number.
He said the finals. He said the biggest stage. That wasn't the finals.
But that was the biggest stage. The biggest stage.
Okay.
We got to listen properly now.
Okay,
this,
you're right.
This becomes an emotion when we talk about this. We fall into that feeling of no way, because I said the biggest stage. There is no one person.
He has to get there on the biggest stage. Yeah, he got there 6 times and he won. A lot of people just stuck on that. They forget the Pistons beating them up. They forget him losing to the Magic.
But guess what?
They forget the Wizard years.
And guess what Isaiah Thomas said? Isaiah Thomas said he never had a hard time having to play cover Michael Jordan. He never had a hard time. You know why? Because everybody did it. Everybody you had to double team. I know you was falling for the Matrix on that one, Chico. I saw you getting excited when I said it because I got excited when he said it too. I'm like, what do you mean you never had a hard time? He said, because I never had to do it by myself. I always did it with help. And he came back and also said when they double team Mike, he still put up 60.
And lost.
But he still put up 60 because LeBron is putting up going 10 times and he's losing. But we're not sitting here saying that. But
Chico, I sit here quietly because I'm nowhere near Charles Barkley. I love this. I love this debate. I think it's the fuel of barbershops. It took place with Dr. J in that era. Like this, we just got social media now. People don't argue who's the greatest ever for every sport and every barbershop across America. I do think this is one of the ones, though, that no matter what facts the other side come with, the other side ain't changing their mind. There's no conversion in this.
Well, that's why I said
hold
emotion.
on, Slash.
Right?
Hold on, Slash. Hold on
Yeah,
now. Respectfully, you had the floor. You know, you had the floor. And
we need you to give you what side you on.
I promise you, I'm gonna be brief. I promise you, I'm gonna be brief.
Yeah.
Almost 6 years ago to the day, LeBron passed MJ in scoring. And you know what I said then? I said, man, that don't mean nothing. He's still like the greatest of all time. Like, I mean, you know, anybody can pass somebody by 1 bucket or 2 buckets. Like, that don't mean nothing. In front of him was still Karl Malone and Kareem and all that. And I remember saying 6 years ago, I said, you know what? Regardless of championships, because to me, no matter the sport, championships are a team sport. I said basketball is about scoring. And I said this, Slash, this is important. I said this believing it wasn't going to happen. I set the bar. I said if he ever substantially passes Kareem, that's when I'm going to say the ball game over here to go. This dude came in the league with the highest expectations of anybody that's ever come into the league, and he met them and exceeded them.
Yeah.
He came into the league when there was more scrutiny and 24-hour news than any other time in the league and has not failed that test. He is now, and every time he makes a basket, is the all-time leading scorer. When you look at all of the benchmarks, whether it's 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, now 50, he's been the youngest person to ever reach those benchmarks. Never having a Hall of Fame coach, don't know his daddy. All these things come into play. I ain't finna make all this other stuff Chico was making about what kids do and all that.
Don't focus on the avocado on the salad.
For me, as I sit here right now on March the 7th, 2025, because at the level he has done it consistently for all these years, with little to no apparent drop off in any category, and has amassed 50,000 points. You may like Jordan's style of play. Jordan may be a more vocal leader, more flash. You may like Kobe. You may like Magic. But there is just indisputable now. There is one GOAT in basketball. And until somebody scores more than 50,000 points, it's LeBron James.
So
all right, so based on that logic, on that logic, is Emmitt Smith the greatest running back in the history of football?
What is a running back job to do?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I know what it is.
Oh, Lord, this man ain't answered the question. Answer the question.
No, the answer, the greatest running back is whoever got the most yards.
No.
And then you can say whoever got the most touchdowns. Then you can say whoever got the most all-purpose yards. You could extrapolate it through those two data points because that's their job.
Is he better than Walter Payton?
When he passed Walter Payton, he became better than Walter Payton.
So you're a numbers guy.
Production.
Who's the best?
All right. Okay. I like that.
Not behavior. Don't mix. Who's the valedictorian in the class? The person with the highest GPA. Does that mean
Michael Jordan got the highest?
Does that mean they the best student, the best behaved, or dressed the nicest? No, they got the highest grades.
What about Bill Russell?
But Bill Russell, no. So here's the body of work, because you got to put body of work in there too. Body of work matters because we're subjective in what we choose to speak on. Because Neely mentioned a Hall of Fame coach. Who was a Hall of Fame coach while they were coaching?
You know, you
I'm just asking a question.
No. Name me one of the LeBron coaches that will be a Hall of Fame coach.
Because
damn well, man. You know damn well. We talking about this.
Hey, Dukes, because see, he ended it by saying this dude didn't have a Hall of Fame coach, and the only Hall of Fame coach between the two is Phil Jackson.
But keep in mind, keep in mind, Slash. I also said I don't even want to misconstrue things by adding stuff on like that with Chico, with that and what your kid's doing. I also put that in it. I said it to the jury, but quickly erased it. I'm totally basing it on this man now played 20 plus years and scored 50,000 points.
No, it got to be the GOAT now. And no drop off. No drop off. He has to be the GOAT, dog.
That's a lot of points.
We love Mike.
Now watch this here. I'm gonna show you how much you will love him even more. In 22 of those seasons y'all talking about, 40-point games, LeBron had 70 of them. In 7 seasons less, Michael Jordan had 173 games of 40-plus points.
Listen,
Okay.
listen. Hold
No.
So-
You gotta let that simmer for a second. We can't. No. You can't be a Democrat. real
What's the
quick.
total?
Slow down.
What's the
Let me
total?
get political. You can't be a Democrat. In 7 less games than 7 less seasons than LeBron. 7 less seasons than LeBron. Michael Jordan has had 173 40-point games. 7 more seasons, LeBron still just had 78. What I'm saying is when we start taking this information and we start putting it in pockets that we choose to put it in, we got to go off the information to determine in a time span too as well. Because now this dude got 6 championships and we're saying he's not better than this guy. I'm confused.
Here's the logic that's not
In the
confusing to me.
in the Eastern Conference, I'm going to say
here's
this,
the
Neely,
here's the
in
logic.
the Eastern Conference was much tougher back then than the Eastern Conference today.
That's subjective. Here's the logic. Here's the logic that I'm basing it on. Everybody got their categories. And again, Dukes, what did I start off saying? I'm addressing Dukes because Dukes.
So remember that word subjective.
Dukes is the logical one. I started this point off by saying, ain't nobody gonna change nobody's mind.
Right.
Dukes.
No.
You might be a breast man, Dukes, and Chico might be an ass man.
Lord.
What's fine to you ain't gonna change your mind because it was fine. So yes, to me, what's more important than a team accomplishment of the championship is how many points he scored. Like when I walk into the wider play, I'm picking that ninja that can score. Or
but that may not. But that may not. But that may not. But that may not mean
he can score and he go pass.
But that may not mean that may not mean he's the best though. So when you answer this question, was the Eastern Conference tougher back then than it is today, or vice versa? Which one?
Basketball is tougher now.
No.
Hey, look. So you know. Hey, look. All right, Uncle Neely. Like, this is all I'm gonna say. The man with the most tackles at linebacker, in the most tackles period in the season, Hardy Nickerson. Was that the greatest season at linebacker? Because the linebacker is supposed to have tackles. I'm just saying.
No,
that's how we judge the linebacker.
Let me tell you something.
Definitely one of them.
Before faint again. I don't measure the greatness of a linebacker by tackles. That's why you can't fuck me up. Like, you can't change what I'm saying. My definition of the best basketball player is the one who scores the most points. So you're not going to change that by going, well, by line, if you ask me what my category is for linebacker, it ain't going to be most tackles.
But doesn't competition
But for running back is most yards, because that's what their job is, to run the damn ball. Who ran the most yards? Emmitt Smith, greatest.
What's a linebacker job?
It's more than tackling. Everybody's job on defense at some point is to tackle.
Well, okay, but running backs' only job ain't just to rush the passer.
And what did I say? I gave other qualifications. You could talk about rushing yards for running back. You could talk about all-purpose yards. You could talk about average yards per carry. You could, and Emmitt may be the leader in rushing yards, but he may not be the average leader in receptions or average yards per carry.
He's the best.
Which is why I started with, ain't nobody gonna change nobody's mind. Just like Chico like ass and you like titties, the mind ain't gonna change.
Well, it's not about changing the mind. It's about understanding when we do go, because I have to learn myself when we go through the process to the point where it may be like, you know what, you got a valid point. But what you're standing on, Neely, is it is what it is, and I ain't changing. I don't care what you tell me, but I'm gonna get it to you anyway because I want you to understand.
But now, you stand on the same thing. You ain't gonna change.
No, I'm not. No, what I'm giving you is facts. No, I'm giving facts.
I'm just saying it.
No, I'm giving you facts. Now watch this.
Oh, I didn't give you facts.
And please let me come say something after this. Go ahead, Stu.
No. So when it comes to what Michael Jordan had to face in his time, let me give you a few categories. 7 of the top 10, he had all-time scores that he was playing against. 9 of the top 10 teams and people that had to face.
He had the
all-time leaders in blocks. No. He had the all-time leaders in steals and also in assists. So when you start looking at the players today, the reason why so many couldn't get championships in the past was because of 23. You got people like Steph Curry, who we are not talking about, who should be in the GOAT conversation, who's knocking LeBron James off. that we know for sure, arguably, is the
He knocked him
greatest
off,
shooter
dude.
in the history. Pause. In the history of the game.
Look,
Yeah.
And so what I'm
LeBron
saying.
James beat him by himself.
Oh,
LeBron James
Jesus.
beat Chico.
He didn't beat
When the Cleveland Cavaliers, yes, when he played, yes. But I'm saying, that is his kryptonite. Steph Curry is his kryptonite. He's not, because the East, LeBron had to go get help from other players too, by the way. I'm just saying. He had to go figure out.
Y'all discredit what Michael
Man.
Jordan. Michael Jordan had James Robinson, the greatest rebounder of all time.
No, they
And
both
who?
got
And
help.
who?
Like,
And
Michael
who?
Jordan had
Scottie
Ron
Pippen.
Harper at point.
And
Michael
Ron
Jordan
Harper.
got the best European player.
And Tony Kukoc. There
They
you go,
both had
dude.
help. This is the thing with it.
Hey, Deuce, hold on. Leon said Draymond helped LeBron beat the Warriors.
He ain't lying.
They said Draymond was just out there getting cardio. He's just out there running.
Bouncing around out there. Go get him, Draymond.
Because there has to be a level of difficulty in all of this stuff. It's not like, okay, we got the numbers. He played for 22 years. He only played for 15. He got the most numbers, so he's the best. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Respectfully, brother, you know I love you, and I hear you.
Love ain't got
That's
nothing
a
to do with
brilliant
this.
point.
What love ain't got to do with this? Love ain't got nothing to do with this.
Here's the thread that can be pulled on that. I'm from Mississippi, you from Louisiana, so I know you're gonna get this reference.
Cruising down the street, come on.
Yeah, real slow. I heard people say the same thing about Eddie Robinson and his coaching record. Well, he wasn't playing nobody. It ain't my fault.
What they say about Eddie Robinson?
It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. Who I got to do this against?
No, I'm saying, what did they say? So for people who don't know,
What
did they say
the
about
knock
Eddie
on
Robinson?
Eddie Robinson when he was catching Bear Bryant and passing Joe Paterno is that the
wins.
SWAT was watered down and he wasn't playing nobody. He was playing who was in front of him. Well,
Was he the best?
Win.
But I answer this question. So
it's not LeBron's fault that his teammate is this or his opponent is that, nor is it MJ's fault. You know, just like Ray Allen hits a three in the corner, I done seen Paxson hit one on the wing. Like all this stuff comes down to team ball, but I'm telling you what don't come down to team ball. He made that shot, and that man done made more shots than anybody.
So answer this question for me. I just want to ask this question. So because Eddie Robinson has won more football games as a head coach, that makes him the best coach in all of football.
Yeah, I'm going to be biased and say yes. That's my guy, Eddie Robinson, the greatest coach
I'm
ever.
just asking. I just have to ask that question because there's going to be so many that's going to speak about the level of difficulty and competition and all that different type of stuff, and we have to respect that because it's fact. But you can't take away from the wins. Now he's the most winningest coach of all times. Yes, we can all say that. LeBron has the most numbers when it comes to points. But Kobe Bryant, but Michael Jordan, when it comes to what matters most, like they're saying this about Jalen Hurts, he's not elite. He's beat Josh Allen, he's beat Lamar Jackson, he's beat Patrick Mahomes, he's beat Joe Burrow. All the four quarterbacks that we consider that's elite in the National Football League. He didn't just beat them. He beat the one that beat him the first time in the Super Bowl. Statistically, he beat him. He lost the game. It's not his fault that the defense couldn't hold up on the back end and not get that dang on penalty called on pass interference. If not, he wins that game. But yet he comes back and he does it this time in 2024, 2025 Super Bowl, and he beats arguably the best quarterback, and he's still active and current, and Patrick Mahomes right now today. He just beat him, and people are still questioning him and wanting to be elite. All I know is in the biggest games, this dude wins. In the biggest game, this dude wins whether you like how he does it or not.
Still a team game.
Booty and breast.
Booty what? Booty and breast.
Booty and breast.
Here's the stats right here just to finalize this thing. Just to finalize this thing.
Hold on. You know I go to movies.
Already.
You know I go to movies. When that Persian showed up in Sparta and he said land and water. Hey, dog, what's important to you? Like booty or breast? You clearly, and let me say something to you, Slash.
Take your time.
You're not wrong. You value the biggest moments, the biggest games. You value championships.
That's the only thing
for
that matters.
For your GOAT conversation. But now you say it don't matter when it's Bill Russell or Robert Orr or other people that got mold. But I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. I value points scored.
And look, Slash pointed out the points per game, the 40 points and the many games that he's played, but you also said LeBron only played 82 games once in the season. So if you're talking about that, then
John Stockton.
It's a little bit more equal as far as how long they played.
That man,
rather than just looking at the years. We got to look at the games like you're saying. And if you're just basing it on points,
well, yeah, it took him 22 years to get to that amount of games. It took him 22 years. 22.
But he had
if you
had to play for 22 years too. That's not an easy thing to do.
If you sit down for 2 quarters, real quick, Chico, you don't think Mike could have played 22?
Hell no.
Hell no. Ocho?
Well, so you don't think Mike?
You out there? No, you out there smoking cigars.
When did we ever see Mike get injured for an extended period?
Bro, did you see Wizards? Did you see Wizards, Mike?
He was still getting close to
exactly. You asked, could he have played for
his
eyes
as long as LeBron? Yelling in.
No, man, jumped in his eyes. Look, hell no.
It's so bad to Duke's conversation is at 40 years old, LeBron was sitting on the bench with his street clothes on, but Michael Jordan was playing in the All-Star game, man. Y'all got to.
I don't care if he played in the All-Star game. He averaged less. He averaged 19 points.
Neely,
and that was a sentimental.
Right. Neely, you know you was right. It don't matter what you say. It don't matter what you say.
It don't matter what you say.
But Dukes and Cordell, my man Slash, two of my good friends. I really do think the four of us can agree on this.
You sound like Stephen A.
I really do. But you know what? Unlike Stephen A, I got record of Slash calling me his friend and Dukes calling me his friend. It's on record. This is reciprocal. That's a big word.
Can we get the old NBC music when the games used to come on? Remember
that? Oh man, you run to the TV.
Can we find that?
It's Marv Albert with your NBA on NBC.
I do think we can agree on this.
Not the yellow eyes.
Nobody has done it this good for this long than LeBron James.
Nobody.
With all the help he got, you're right.
Oh, Ross Clyde, big man.
I mean, he got Luka. He got Luka. He wasn't doing it with.
He got Luka now.
He wasn't doing it with Anthony Davis. I mean, until he had the indoor championship. But I'm just saying, Anthony Davis. But now you got Luka. He got some help. And that's
now he got Luka
throughout his career.
Now he got Luka. Y'all got to watch him for another 5 years. Do his damn thing.
Well, I will say this: you never saw LeBron play with a top. You never saw Jordan play with a top 5.
Never. Not once in his career. Name one. Take your time. Google it. You got your laptop right there in front of you. Google
a top 5 what? He said Google it. A top 5 what? Top 5 player in the NBA?
Yeah. Another MVP candidate. For real.
Now, Scottie Pippen wasn't an MVP candidate?
He became one. Because he had to learn. He became one. But LeBron.
Dennis Rodman wasn't the best power forward.
Have you ever seen Jordan be able to defer to the best player on the court?
He didn't he do that with the Wizards? He deferred to Jerry Stackhouse.
Man, he deferred to Paxson and other white boy.
He deferred to Larry Hughes and Washington.
I didn't say to the open player. I said to the best player.
When is LeBron not the best player on this team?
Every time.
Luka better than LeBron right now.
No, I'm asking a question, dude. I'm being sincere. On LeBron's team, his team.
When he was with the Heat. When he was with the Heat with Dwayne Wade, who already had a championship.
I will disagree, but I'll allow it.
With Ray Allen.
So you saying at the time Ray Allen was better than LeBron?
Say that one more time.
I was saying in the history of LeBron's team, when has he not been the best player on the team?
He wasn't the best player on his team when he played down in Miami.
Your opinion?
He wasn't. Not what
I'm asking you. Didn't he win an MVP?
No, you saw him when he played in the finals against Dallas. How bad he was. What are we talking about here?
Well, Dirk.
Hey man, LeBron is black mask is the best LeBron you've ever seen.
The best LeBron I've ever seen. Was it in 08? I think he was with Cleveland when he came back to Cleveland. When he came back to Cleveland, even though before he was excellent. Now, everybody that's listening, so we can really get this across the right way. This is no hate on neither player. This is just mostly a preference of who we choose to love and like in the eras. I've had a chance, all of us on this right here has had a chance to be a part of both. I just stand on what I know the body of work of that dude in a short span of time on the other side. That 23 guy that's got his shoes everywhere. I think LeBron even probably wear a pair of Jordans during the games too.
Shoes has nothing to do with the GOAT.
I'm
Shoes
just
has
saying,
nothing to do with being the
but
GOAT.
we sat here and said, what did we say was the reason? You said a kid being on the floor was it because he
That
was
was a joke. That was a sidebar.
No,
That
it
was a
wasn't no
little.
joke.
That was
It
a little.
wasn't
That was a
no
little pumpkin seeds on
It
the
wasn't no
salad.
joke. Chico just don't know how to make valid arguments. That's all.
What?
Because
serious.
when
Oh,
you put him
all
back
right.
with Magic
All right.
Johnson's son, he had to backpedal. That joke was
Dead serious.
running up out there.
That's
No,
when you get to
no.
Hawaii. See, when you get over there to the land over there and he leave home and he leave that party meeting, that spam, see, he get diluted over there. See? So
Hey,
now he's
you know,
joking
Slash,
kind of got saw,
Slash,
Polly Negro here now.
I'm gonna tell you this, Slash, and I say
That's
this
messed
sincerely now. I say this sincerely.
Watch this. Watch this now. Watch this.
I have been with Shedeur Sanders since he was in high school, watching him play quarterback.
Yep.
But you know who the best quarterback in Colorado football history is?
Who's that?
Cordell Stewart, highest winning percentage, and winnings would matter. Only two people get judged by wins. That's the head coach. And
What was my percentage though? By the way,
88%.
Was it 80?
Now somebody can say, arguably, rightfully, that Shedeur is a better quarterback than Slash. But what I measure on for the
His wins
quarterback,
and losses.
how many times did he lead the team to victory? You got 88%.
Well, let me tell you how much better I am. I ain't gonna do all that.
I can run.
Run, run. No, listen to me about Shedeur. Shedeur has done a job at Colorado that I can honestly say, and I do sometimes believe in putting out your own information and data, because if you're waiting on everybody else, you're gonna be dead and gone, and then give you your flowers then. All right.
Absolutely.
But when it came down to that transition at the University of Colorado from being an option pass to a pass option quarterback, no one has ever been able to do anything remotely close to the body of work until Shedeur actually came in a short span of time with what the game says is required for you to do today.
Totally agree. And that's why LeBron is my GOAT. It's the same standard.
And the only difference for me when it comes to those two dudes, this dude is 6'9", this other dude is 6'6", playing like he's 6'9". This other dude got his head paws knocked off multitude of times by the Pistons, by the Celtics, we could go on with the teams that gave him complete hell. And from a physicality standpoint, this dude stood the test of times. And the numbers that he put up can match the numbers that's being put up now that's taking longer to get it done. Think about that for a second. If you look at the all defensive first team, if you look at the regular season MVP, all the selections of what he's done and doing it 4 times in the first time in the history of the game of anybody to be scoring champion, all first team in NBA finals, all of that stuff.
Half of
If
that
you
stuff
put
is
that in
popularity
today's-
contest.
Not necessarily because it's numbered, because it's factual. If you look at what Mike did back then and you place those numbers in today's game, you don't have to pull anything from it. If anything, you'll add more numbers to it. For as
All
a
I can say
balancing
is
act of
this.
saying, go ahead.
Look, the best argument for Michael Jordan over LeBron is the defensive side, with the defensive player of the years and all defensive teams. That's what I think.
Which takes him to another stratosphere, to the GOAT conversation.
But then when you say he only did it for this short amount of time, look at the guys that's look at a guy like Sterling Sharp, for instance, right? Did his thing. He just not getting to the Hall of Fame.
But that's not his fault, though.
Why?
That's not his fault. But that's not his fault.
But why
because
though? Why? I'm just asking the question.
Because he can't pick who he's not on the selection committee.
Hold on. Say that again, Chico.
I said, why
get that
is Sterling Sharp just now getting into the Hall of Fame?
He got hurt.
In other words, the length of his career, right?
Well, but
Chico, I got a question for you.
I'm asking that question. Though. Can y'all ask that question? Because they said
you've gotten both of your answers. I got a question for you. Why when we on Uncle and Chico live on Sundays and Thursdays, shameless plug, when I be getting on your ass and you disagree, you mute me. You ain't muted Slash one time today. See, Slash should walk up on you like LeBron
no,
did Stephen A.
Slash making an argument. Slash making an argument. You get on here
Slash.
talking about you get
No,
on here
you
talking
scared of
about
Slash,
Chico.
see? You
Check
scared
it
of
out, no,
Slash.
Chico.
I'm scared of
Chico, he
Slash
said,
now.
no.
Look at that instigator over there. Stand over.
Chico, don't he come back? Don't he come back? Chico say, I don't care what you say. I believe in what I believe in. That's it. You can say what you want to say. I'm gonna look at the wall.
And you started this thing off like you like to say. You started this thing off saying, I'm going to Slash. I'm going to have my brother Chico back. I'm like, what? And look at you now.
No,
look, punch me in the face.
You wrote out with whose son is in the music.
Hey, Chico,
who did this?
I made a whole bunch of other points before I said anything about the man's son in the league. That was just a little bit of comedy to add on.
Chico, let me
Y'all
tell you
want to
something.
hang on that.
Chico, let me tell you something my daddy taught me. May rest in
Bumba.
peace.
Oh God.
Let me tell you, Chico, you particularly need to hear this.
Oh, here we go.
Tell you something my daddy told
day,
me.
guys.
He was an old military guy. He said, son, one old shit erases 10 attaboys. So you gave me 10 attaboys and then said, yeah, whose son then? It erased everything you said before.
Answer this question for me, y'all.
Hey,
do you think
it won't erase this?
Tony Cochran said, if it don't fit, you must have quit. He didn't say that first.
We all fools for talking about this, as Charles Barkley would say. And they're getting ready to head over to ESPN to become fools also. NBA on TNT will move to ESPN next year. Let's just get you guys comment on that and thoughts on that and the fact that Charles Barkley called everybody fools over there.
That's who he is.
Hey, Dukes, you're going to love this one.
Yeah.
It's just like the closing of Casino with Sam Rothstein.
Mm-hmm.
Sam said at the end of the day, I can still make people money, and that's all that matters. I can pick winners. That TNT combination is just winners. They make the next level money.
Unbelievable.
You could not let that die.
So answer this question. Are all three of them going over there?
Yeah, the whole crew is going back.
The whole crew. Ernie, Kenny, Barkley,
and they're going to ESPN?
Yep.
Yes,
let's go. I mean, they did the same thing with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman when they left Fox and went over to ESPN, right? In football, in the NFL. That's good. When I did see it and I was listening, I didn't hear all of it, but all I heard was that Charles Barkley was going. But now that y'all saying it, man, it's gonna be. I tell you what though, that's a crew that you can't break up. Like it's like the Jackson 5 was never the same once we broke them up, right? Like seriously. When it came to great music, even though Michael Jackson was, man, come on, like he's the greatest pop star of all time, ever in the history of singing, of pop culture. Michael Jackson was all that and then some. And I think that crew, led by Ernie, and that personality, like they work so good off one another to where even though one may talk over another one, but they find a way to bring it back to the middle of what they're talking about. And I think that entertainment, I think that's what we like, right? We black folk, we love entertainment. That entertainment along with because Kenny ended up being the balancer, right? Kenny kind of like that uncle in the background. As I don't know what y'all.
Then you got Chuck and Shaq. Remember when Shaq told Chuck? Shaq told Chuck, it's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, back to 1.
Let me ask the chat this. Chat, they got 4 people over here.
Come get you, Neely. You keep on.
Yeah, we got 4 people over there at TNT. We got 4 people.
Who is the
Ernie?
I knew that question was coming.
Who is the Kenny and who is the Charles of this one?
Well, right now, Neely, you're gonna be Chuck and I'm gonna be Shaq. Because if I come catch you, I'm gonna put these paws up on you.
First of all, Shaq, you're too big and ugly to get down here.
And then Kenny gonna be in the background laughing.
Hey, Dukes is absolutely Kenny the Jet Smith now.
So am I Ernie?
No. Right now, in this poll.
Oh, you talking about y'all three? Okay.
No.
Hell, you in here now?
No, on this phone, I'm Ernie. I ain't gonna say a whole lot. I'm gonna pop in there every now and then, man.
I'll take Kenny because I gotta keep.
Yeah, because Kenny be instigating.
I gotta keep Shaq, and I gotta keep Charles Barkley honest. I gotta keep him
Okay.
honest.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna be Shaq. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
move
you're gonna be
Unc
Shaq.
over here
You're gonna be
away
Shaq.
from me. Because if I get on, you're gonna need some
Yeah,
icy hot. Because you're gonna
yeah,
have back
Charles
pain.
Barkley.
Yeah, I had to move you away from it because you're gonna have back pain if I come over there, Chuck.
Well, guys,
Oh, shucks.
hope you guys got everything off the chest, guys. Ernie just
So
be
Charles,
like,
so
whoa.
look, I'm gonna do it like we on TV. So Charles, so what you
Yeah.
telling me? I mean, so is that what you're gonna sit up here and say? We're not talking about that, Charles. I'm talking to you, Neely. We're not talking about that, Charles. I mean, and then Charles will come back and say, "Is you a
Well-
damn fool to think I'm not gonna say it?" I said what I want to say. Is that
That's
how it
because he's
is?
sitting over there drinking all those Diet Dr. Peppers.
Yeah, he is.
Man,
Hey, man.
Chico,
The
you was not
general-
the most. Chico, I'm sorry, Shaq, you was not the most dominant. You sucked your first years. You remember what Akeem did to you?
I got 4 rings. How many do you have? I don't see no rings on your finger over there, Chuck. Only ring I see is one of those candy rings that you be sucking on at night time.
well,
Ernie,
guys,
take us out of here, Ernie.
well, guys, we're not going to talk about rings and sucking and all of that stuff, but it's been a great show, and want to give a shout out to the network, the pregame network. We've got at Deuce the Scoop channel. We've also got BiggDogg Chico. Got our special guest, Cordell Stewart, friend of the family here, and
I'll tell you what I do like. I like that street meat in New York.
well, hey, man.
And how you be eating those churros, Chuck?
And that's why he can't lose. And that's why he can't lose no weight, Chuck.
What the hell?
like
Hey,
you
no,
know-
damn, Ernie.
No, Dukes, that happened. That happened on their show.
Let's
Okay,
do it again,
They
Chuck.
were-
Let's
they
put
were trying
you
to diss- they were
let's put
trying
you on
to
full
diss
screen,
Kenny.
Chuck.
They were trying to diss Kenny about being from New York, and Charles said the only thing he like about New York is that street meat, and he go down the street just eating it. And then when Shaq said, "What did Shaq say, Chico?"
How you be throwing back that meat, Chuck?
And shit, Chuck went, "Oh, I got one in each hand."
You double fisted.
Oh,
he
no,
double
wait,
B.
no. Chico,
Oh, he doubled
And
down.
he didn't know they were setting him up.
He doubled down
He
on
didn't
it.
know.
He doubled down on it.
He double
Chico, you better
fisted.
not. I bet not.
Nothing
see
like
no
them
figure
big women in San Antonio either.
Oh,
Get him, Chuck.
Woo.
All right, yes, you will see a clip of this. You guys will see a clip. Make sure you follow us
Yeah,
on
let's do
Instagram, BiggDogg Chico on Instagram, Deuce the Scoop on Instagram, the
Chuck right
pregame
here.
show on Instagram, and
Right,
K/10
right.
on Instagram, Cordell Stewart.
Yeah, I'm
We will
fist
be
bumping
back
my man Cordell.
with
man.
more. Y'all give a little fist bump. That's dope right there. He's good.
Cordell,
Duke,
you
we
can
gonna do a
come back
fist bump, Duke. Damn,
anytime,
Duke. What's up,
Cordell.
Duke?
Oh, my bad, Chico. Let me see which way it goes. That way.
He's good.
Yeah.
that's me and Neely right there. That's
Bam.
me. This me and Dude. Come on, Dude, right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
Outside.
for sure,
There,
for
All
sure.
right,
boom,
we
boom,
fist
boom,
bumping
boom.
in this thing.
I don't wanna
Hey, y'all
bump
make
you.
sure y'all
There you
stay
go.
tuned for more from this. What do you call it? Quartet? He's good.
Yeah, that's
Trio
a good
to a
word.
quartet.
Man, that's a good word, Chico.
Did I
What's
say it
wrong
right,
with you?
Unc? Our
You did,
our
quartet.
resident grammar and English professor, Uncle Neely, he tell us
He
more.
said that was so backhanded.
Hey,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
like I-
Really?
look,
Why
like
gotta
I
be
said-
backhanded, dog?
Yeah, I heard it.
I
Chico
say
be
it to
thinking
the
don't
chat.
nobody
It's
catch
like,
me being slick, man.
I say it to the chat. I said it in the text group. It ain't that Chico can't read. He just can't read aloud.
That's messed up.
Yeah,
That's messed
you
up.
let him
Chico.
read through himself at his own pace. He's an exceptional reader.
Get him off you, Chico. That guy.
You see, right? It's
Get
all
him
good.
off you.
They said Chico's the guy in class when they
I
asked him to read, he
Chico-
just laughed. He just laughed so he
Chico,
can
I
get
told you a
time.
turncoat. I told you a
Hey,
turncoat.
Chad.
Turncoat. You see that, right?
I
Hey,
told
Chat,
that's
you.
what I'm
let us
gonna-
know in the chat as we close out on this Friday, this beautiful
Flash, if
Friday.
I ever get my
Let us
hands
know
on
in
the
the
Flash,
chat
it's over.
If y'all want Cordell back, if y'all want Cordell to keep coming back, let us know in the chat. Put slash in the chat. If
You
want
already
Slash.
know what they're gonna say. We don't care what they're gonna say. Slash coming back, dog. Slash
Yeah,
coming
come
back. Slash, let me tell you this though, before you
What you got?
go. I
Go
didn't like you for a long time. You want me to tell you why? Real
Because
quick.
we won.
I didn't like
because
it.
we won. Because we won all the time. That's
No.
why. You don't like winners?
No.
Go ahead, I'm
I was a
listening.
fan. I was actually still a fan, but I didn't like you for a long time. And you
What
gonna-
happened?
you
What
gonna-
I do? What I do?
My cousin used to play with you so much on Madden, dog. I used to call my mom. Mom, he beat me again. He beat me again.
See,
So
Neely,
you
that's
ain't like
I
this
hated
man
seeing
in
that
real
team.
life. So
That's
what his
greatness,
cousin did.
Neely. That's greatness, Neely. That's
A
what I'm
little
talking
bit.
about right there.
A
That's
little
what I'm
bit.
talking about right
I
there.
never thought I'd meet him, but I ain't gonna lie. When I saw him in Colorado, I kind of side-eyed him one time.
You ain't no good, dude.
That
I'm
ninja
telling
go
you.
right there, real life.
Yeah, just you know
You
what?
know
I
how many
did that all the
Saturdays
time.
I had
I
messed
get
up
that
because
all
of
the
this
time.
guy. You know
I
how many
get that so
PlayStation
often.
This
or
man
Sega
sat
controllers
here.
I wanted to break?
This man sat here on his own show, on his own network, and
Much
told
love, Slash. You know I love you.
very special
Yes,
guest, I ain't
sir.
like you.
It's all right. It's all right. That's why I'm okay. But that's why
That's why you love
in
Big
the
Dog, because he
end,
gonna tell you the truth.
that's why in the end, Michael Jordan is the greatest to ever do it. And it's okay, Chico. Don't stress it, man. It's all right. I mean, can I answer this? Can I ask this question?
The
Yes.
answer is yes. Bronny
So-
James
so-
would beat Magic Johnson's son 1-on-1. The answer is yes.
There you go. That's it right there. 'Cause I don't need LeBron standing over me. Don't talk about my son no more. I don't need that.
That's messed up, dog. Now,
Need that.
now when Magic see you talk about his son, he gonna
So are you saying Magic's son would beat Bronny 1-on-1?
Magic son 6'6".
Yeah.
Do they play in
Without
heels? What are you
heels.
talking about? What are you like?
You said without what, Chico?
Nothing, man. I was just
Hey, man, get that shovel, bro. All right. Well, guys, I'm going to get into my role as Ernie, and it's been a great show.
We gotta
Broken
get
it
this
down
show
a
back.
couple of times here, guys, and I want to give a special shout out to friend and family member Cordell Stewart for coming on to the morning run. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon. All right, guys. Chico, the sound man, give us some music. Let's ride on out.
thank you, Ernie. And the next time we'll be back with some more.
Chico,
Don't
stop.
mess it up, Chico. Just hit the button.
Stop it.
Thank y'all for coming out. Have a great. God bless. We'll be back with more fun on the morning run. We'll back this thing. Peace, everybody. Yeah.